Welcome to another time here in the upper room, another time to pray. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you here. We've been sharing, doing a study through the book of Daniel, leading ourselves in a place of prayer. So we're just going to continue on that same line this morning. And yesterday we looked at Daniel chapter 1, verse 17. Today we'll go on to Daniel chapter 1, verse 18. And it talks about that now at the end of the days, when the king had said that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, first one that hits me is the fact that at the end of the days, right? In verse 5 of Daniel chapter 1, we saw that the king had appointed 5 years for the training that they were supposed to go through. Right, so that 5 years came to an end, and at the end of that 5 years, they were brought in, right, to the king, right, to be assessed, as it were, of the training that they had gone through, right. And the key thing that comes to mind for me is the fact that their training was not forever; it was for an appointed time. It was for 5 years, and after that 5 years had expired, there was a need for them to move on to the next thing. There was a need to be the end of the training and a need to graduate and go to do the assignment that was put before them. And key thing that comes to my mind as I look at that is just a reminder of our own time here on earth, right? Is limited, right? This is not the part that is immortality. This side is the mortality part. There's an appointed time to be born. There's another appointed time to die, right? Each of us have an appointed number of days for being here. We're not here forever. We're not here forever. There's a time to be born. There's a time to be a child. There's a time to be a preteen. There's a time to be a teen. There's a time to be a young adult. There's a time to grow. There's a time to be an old person, as it were. There's a time to retire, right? And there's a time to be grannies and all of that. And there's a time to die, right? And not everybody even has those appointed times. Some people die at childbirth. Some people die pre-teen. Some people die at teen. Some people die young adults, right? We all have a certain appointed time for being here. And that appointed time is not the same for every one of us. It's different for different people, right? So we cannot afford to do the mistake of looking at other people's time, because what the time that's appointed for A is not the same as the time appointed for B. We all, even those that are born the same day, even twins don't necessarily die the same day, right? So there's a need to live with that reality, that consciousness of the fact that we are here not forever. We're here for a certain number of days. And when that day is expired, right, we will be called home, right? We will be called home. And the Bible says that it is appointed unto man once to die, and their judgment, right? We will be assessed for the time we spent here, right? Our time we spent here will be assessed whether it was worthwhile or not, whether we achieved the reason of our existence, our reason of being here or not, right? So, and we don't know how long it takes for us to achieve that, right? So it's important then that we live every day, making the best of every day, because we don't know the total time that we have. Because every day we use, we don't know how much we have left, right? So it's just a reminder for us just to remember that here is mortality, it's not immortality. And the duty beckons on us that will make the ample use of what we have and not waste time, because that's what life is made of. To waste time is to waste our life, right? If our life is precious to us, then we need to make the best use of the time that we have, right? Let's just share it in the morning, just talking about time being limited, mortality, as it were. We have Psalm, that's what Psalm is that? Psalm 90 verse 12 tells us that the Lord should teach us to number our days so that we may apply our heart unto wisdom. our ability to number our days, our ability to be in the reminder of the mortality of our being, it's wisdom. And that's why in ancient times, they used to have slaves go behind champions, centurions, warriors, winners, and just be reminding them, memento mori, which is that remember you're a man, remember you're mortal. Because the challenge for us is that when things are going our way, we feel that we're going to live forever. We love life and we just want life to go forever, right? We live in that euphoria that life is forever. When things are going our way, whether you are rich, everything is okay. You live in that euphoria that life will go forever. That's why I believe it was James 1:12 or thereabout, talking about reminding the rich, hey man, you're still going to die. I mean, the poor is going to die, the rich is going to die, right? Death has nothing to do with the fact that you're rich or you're poor, right? There's an allotted time for you, right? The rich die young, poor die young. Rich die old, poor die old, right? We all have an allotted time here. It has nothing to do with whether you're rich or you're poor, but you have an allotted time here. Your wisdom demands that you make the best use of it and you don't while it away, you don't throw it away, right? That's just what Daniel chapter 1 verse 18 just brings to mind, is the fact that just as there was a time after 5 years, their training was done. It's the same way after our allotted time here, it's going to be judgment. And then there'll be eternity. We're going to die and there's going to be judgment. And what our judgment is going to be a function of how we live our life on this side of eternity. This is a mortal side of eternity. The other side of it is immortality, right? Immortality, you're going to live immortality either as a reward or as a punishment, right? A reward or a punishment, based on how you live mortality. Your living mortality will determine your immortality, whether it's going to be a reward or a punishment, right? So let's not get carried away, right? Whatever it is that we lay our hands on. Time is a limited resource. Time cannot be renewed, it cannot be replenished. Once you waste one time, you can't get it back, right? So just the word I want to leave with all of us today is the fact that let's make the best use of the time that we have here. Let's not postpone, the things that we need to do. Let's not postpone things till tomorrow, because nobody guarantees us we'll be here tomorrow. I mean, every day we need to make the ample use of the day, ample use of the time, ample use of the moment, and not live like we have time, because we probably don't have time. On the intro to our prayer time, I was talking about husband and wife. You have quarrels and you're quarreling, not talking to one another, right? And there's no telling whether one of you is going to pass on. That you will now start saying, "Oh, I don't know." Oh, you start regretting. You don't have to live your life in regret. You can live today so you don't have to regret tomorrow, right? For as long as it's life, make the best of what you have. Make the best of your spouse that you have. Make the best of your children that you have. Make the best of the relationship. Don't postpone things till tomorrow. That's what the Apostle James begins to tell us. That don't be saying, "Oh, so and so, I will go and do this." You're not God. God doesn't promise you that. If God were willing, yes. But while you're here, make the best use of the time that you have. Right? Make the best use of the time that you have. Make the best use of the relationships that you have. Make the best use of the resources that you have. Right? Because even though we're talking about time as a totality, there's also time as in segments, right? There's time as in phases. And there are things expected of you in every phase of life. And if you miss it, you miss it. You can't get it back, right? Anyways, my time is over. I gotta go. All right, love you. Have a good time. Have a great remaining of the afternoon. God willing, see you here tomorrow.